Hello and welcome to the exciting launch of a very special new model, one that represents both the biggest and the exceptional best of the Mercedes-Benz passenger car range. It is, of course, an all-new Mercedes-Benz S-Class. My name is Ryan Lewis. I'm the Product Communications Manager for Mercedes-Benz Australia, and I'm joined by our Head of Product, Andrei Dubkovsky, who oversees the launch of every new model in this region. Hi, Andrei.
Hi, Ryan.
we'd like to welcome our viewers from across Australia and New Zealand, markets where the S-Class enjoys a very strong following and has done for many decades. We're going to spend a little bit of time looking at some of the innovations of this new model, as well as its significance to the Mercedes-Benz family. And then we're going to circle back to answer some of your questions asked via our social media channels. Andrei, obviously this doesn't happen every day. It's very exciting to have this car with us. It's an event every time a new S-Class launches. Maybe you could explain to us in your own words a little bit about why the S-Class has always carried such an aura.
Thanks, Ryan. It's great to have the opportunity to share some details about this very significant launch and this model, which we describe as the ultimate in automotive luxury. It's also our leader in innovation, safety, and comfort. And it might help if we go back a little way to understand why the S-Class is the model that not only sets the pace at Mercedes-Benz, but for the entire automotive world. And in 1951, we launched the luxurious W187. That is the model that really began the S-Class family as we know it today, even though the name wasn't coined until 1972.
Yeah, I think that point is worth repeating actually, that the S-Class name, even that happened 50 years ago now. It's half a century of development that really has culminated in this showcase of technology and innovation that we have before us in the W223, hasn't it?
That's right, and that's what makes the S-Class probably the most coveted and talked about model of any luxury auto manufacturer.
Okay, so let's have a look at some of the features, the new features of this vehicle that existing owners and fans of the brand may be seeing for the first time. Well, let's start with some of the new features inside the cabin. I've had a little bit of time to get to know the new S-Class, and at the moment, my absolute favorite feature is the augmented reality head-up display. You would know that the S-Class has a head-up display as standard, but there's also the option of this AI unit that uses a projector in the dashboard to give you all of the normal information, the useful stuff that you'd be familiar with about your speed and that kind of thing, but will also give you navigational data in a highly contextual way, something that we've never really been able to offer before. As an example, if you're approaching a roundabout or a turn-off on the highway, an arrow will actually appear in the head-up display over the road outside the window, the actual road that's there, and it will show you which road you need to turn onto or which lane you need to be in. It's all about reducing distraction and making sure that the driver can remain as focused on what's around them as possible.
That's right. And another feature that ticks the same box is the second generation of what we call MBUX, or the Mercedes-Benz user experience. And in the S-Class, this is our infotainment system, which is operable across up to 5 screens. And that includes obviously this beautiful, new, gorgeous OLED center cockpit screen with its portrait function, which is a first for Mercedes-Benz. Almost everything you can think of is controllable from here, but many functions are also able to be voice activated to once again keep your eyes firmly on the road.
Okay, let me try a new one. Hey Mercedes, what's the weather tomorrow?
Tomorrow it will be partly cloudy in Melbourne with temperatures between 13 and 21 degrees.
And now not every command needs a voice prompt. If there's an incoming call, I can just say accept and answer the call.
Okay. I found that MBUX Interior Assist has been really interesting in this car as well, which uses a camera up here in the roof panel. It watches my body language and it can perform functions based on what it anticipates my needs are. So if I'm driving and keeping my eyes on the road and want the sunroof open, I can just wave my hand up here and it will open the roof.
Of course, in the S-Class, we lavish plenty of attention on backseat passengers too. Customers can choose the standard or long wheelbase, the latter with an extra 11 centimeters for the added comfort of rear seat passengers.
And one other notable thing about the long wheelbase is that for the first time, we have a forward-facing rear seat airbag as standard in the long wheelbase car, which is something we've never offered before. We know from research that the backseat of a Mercedes-Benz is one of the safest places you can be, but with this car, we're going one better.
That's right. And you will notice too that rear seat passengers can have optional rear-facing screens with full MBUX control, as well as a detachable tablet that mounts between the two outboard seats.
Yeah, it is an incredible digital experience, this car, especially the back seat. But there's a lot of analog aspects to it as well, isn't there? The quality of the materials, the incredible attention to detail, and the level of adjustability as well. If you pair all that with the optional energizing package, you can have massages in the front and in the back. You can have the vitalization and wellness programs. It's a little bit closer to a day spa than a regular back seat.
You know what I really like? Look at the side view of the S-Class, and there's something missing. Protruding door handles. But when I approach the car with the key in my pocket, something wonderful happens. These extending door handles are first for Mercedes-Benz, and they look amazing and feel special. And when I close the door, it pulls softly shut behind me.
It is a little bit magic, isn't it? There's another feature a little bit magic as well. It feels a bit like defying laws of physics. And that's actually rear wheel steering, which is available as an option now on the S-Class for the first time. It effectively shortens the wheelbase, or makes it feel like the car has a shorter wheelbase, and reduces the turning circle by up to 2 meters. So in practical terms, parking the S-Class actually feels more like being at the wheel of an A-Class hatch than it does something as long as the S-Class. It's amazing, isn't it?
I think for most drivers, the S-Class goes beyond what you would expect. But going above and beyond, I guess, is pretty much the entire mission statement for the S-Class. And one thing you do expect is safety in spades, and including the latest generation of our driver assistance technology. And via the gorgeous display, you can also see the safety system in operation.
And that's not to mention the active ambient lighting display as well, which not only looks stunning, but gives you 250 LEDs and fibre optics to reinforce from a safety point of view as well. It has the visual representation if you try to open the door when there's a cyclist or a pedestrian or traffic coming by the car, for example.
Something else that makes me really proud of this vehicle is the recycled content. More than 98 kilograms of components are made from resource-conserving material, and another 40 kilograms are made from renewable raw materials. This process of renewal is now embedded in the Mercedes-Benz DNA, and you can expect to see it flow through to other models. For example, the floor coverings in this new S-Class are made from recycled fishing nets, and fabric remnants from carpet mills.
Wow. You're talking about the flow through to other models. That's actually something that we could say for a lot of the technology that we can see in this car. It will find its way into other parts of the model range over time. But right now, if you want to experience everything that we're talking about today, the S-Class is the only place to do it.
We haven't even mentioned yet how this new S-Class drives. But with Airmatic suspension as standard and 4MATIC all-wheel drive, handling is well taken care of.
The drivetrain as well is exceptional in this car. The turbocharged 3-litre inline-6 engine at the front with a 9-speed automatic in the middle. And there's electrical assistance as well, isn't there? The 48-volt mild hybrid system. It just adds that little bit of extra response when you need it.
That's right. And when you put it all together, it's a stunning package. And I feel like we've just scratched the surface. There are so many more incredible features that we just haven't got time to cover today.
Yeah, we've got some first-time innovations in this car that we still haven't talked about, like biometric authentication, which is a fingerprint scanner to link to your personal profile for the first time in a Mercedes-Benz. There's a 3-dimensional driver display, 3D graphics on the screen. We haven't talked about that yet. You can share content from one screen to another around the car. There's actually too much for us to talk about today, but hopefully we've been able to give some sort of an impression on why a new S-Class is so exciting. Okay, Andre, before we finish up, I was hoping we might be able to ask you a few questions that have come in from our followers on social media. I've grabbed our tablet from the back of the car to help us out. You ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, is it true that there is a seat massage function?
That's right. So there is up to 10 massage programs available for both the front and rear seat passengers.
When will the S450 4MATIC and 450L 4MATIC be available?
Both are available to order from the 16th of March.
Why does the S-Class have so many screens?
Well, you know, it's all about personalization, and it really comes down to customers' preference. So some screens are optional and others are standard.
Someone's been looking at the side of the car. They want to know why the rear windows are tinted and the front side windows are not.
That is to ensure peripheral vision and safety.
For the driver?
Exactly.
Right. Is black going to be the only interior color option?
No, we do offer and we will offer more interior configurations in the very near future.
Headlamps. A question about the headlamps. Will the digital light headlamps become available?
Yes, so the multi-beam LED headlights with the adaptive high beam assist come as standard, and in the S450 4MATIC, and digital light will be then an option.
Right, cool. And the last one, how much power does it have?
Both the S450 4MATIC and the S450 4MATIC Long will be powered by a turbocharged 3-liter inline and 6-cylinder engine with a total output of 270 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque.
Plus the 48-volt stuff that we talked about
Correct.
before as well. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Andre. It's been great to get to know the car. I think it's obvious that the more time you spend with this amazing vehicle, the more that you get to discover. Well, that's it from us. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure to host you. And if you do want more information about the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, please visit the Mercedes-Benz website or get in touch with your local retailer.